So at this stage, are you still 100% happy with the result of Omnipresent?
Yeah, I don't think we've ever been unhappy with it. I know it was definitely received a little differently than some of the previous albums because it's a change of pace a little bit, but that was always our goal. Paul Ryan, the guitar player, never, he's always said he doesn't want to write the same album over and over again. So we're totally happy with how it came out, more so than ever, I think.
Okay, so with Paul being the only original member now of the lineup, and you going in now in the band as also the drummer, do you think that the band has changed a lot since its inception?
I mean, well, it's definitely progressed. The style has progressed, but the times have changed too. The when they originally started, they were, the fastest blasting band out there, but in the first few albums, and that's what they were known for. But that kind of style, you can't do that over and over and over again without it being stale. Maybe not for the listener, for the people that like that kind of music, but creating it for Paul, writing that, you can't write that same blast beat song 100 times. You got to do what naturally progresses you as a musician. So I'm sure that's what he did, and I think it's definitely changed, but for the better or for the worse, it's just changed the natural way things have grown.
Exactly, and that was my next question because this is a sixth album for the band.
Hmm.
Most musicians get bored when they play for so long in a style or some kind of music, and they need projects to experiment outside the main band. Do you think that that will happen with Origin?
Well, me and John, the drummer, have another project we're working on. John's obviously been in a dozen bands or so lately, and it's yeah. I mean, it's when you're a musician, that's just what's in your blood. It's just what you feel like you have to keep doing. It comes natural. So I don't think any of them would be a threat to Origin or would ever surpass it. It's obviously the main focus uh, for all of us, but. Yeah, me and John have a project called Krator that we're
Yeah.
going to be releasing somewhat soon, and yeah, it's supposed to come out sometime around the time of his drum DVD, and yeah, it's been sounding pretty good.
Good. So with Origin, are you that kind of band that are into reading the press reviews of your albums, or which was the strangest thing that you read about Omnipresent?
I mean, we do. I mean, I personally do read them. I ego search and you know find out the reception of it. Some of the other members intentionally don't. But I don't know. I've read good. I've read bad. I've read some reviewers that understand what we were trying to do on like a deeper level than just the regular. Oh, it was a good CD or it was a bad CD, but actually look a little deeper and see what we were trying to achieve and get it right. And that's always a good feeling when somebody actually, something you don't expect anybody to do because it's your own personal like goal of making the album. But when you hear somebody sense that, it's a good feeling. But I don't know. I haven't read anything that weird. I don't think about it. Unfortunately, I wish I had. I wish somebody came out with something ridiculous that makes us laugh.
Okay. So the main subject of this album seems to be the extinction of this planet. So do you think we are heading as a human race to that?
It's in not so many words. Yeah, yeah. That's I wrote all the lyrics for this album except for one song that Paul wrote, and yeah,
Yeah.
that is basically the theme. And it's more of I don't know. It's not directly the extinction of the planet. It's more a kind of a sci-fi allegory to just the way just the downfall of our societies, the way we treat our world, the way we treat ourselves, the way we treat the planet, the population, the overall downgrading of our senses and values and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, it's just all that wrapped up in a quasi sci-fi landscape. So,
Okay. So the cover artwork for Omnipresent was both one of the best cover artworks of this year. So it is quite amazing that the artwork. Tell us more about it, how it was
yeah,
created, and everything.
sure, sure, sure. That was the same person that did Entity. did
Yeah.
that artwork. Colin Marks of Rain Song Design, and he does. He's been doing a lot of bands lately. He did like the Conquering Dystopia album, and he has a very distinct style, and it was great because I think he's based out of England. But I remember when we were talking to him about it, I kind of gave him a one or two sentence description of what we wanted. We wanted like Entity album artwork was very cold, simple, minimalist, and represented what the band was feeling at the time. So we didn't want to go in that direction. We wanted to, but still keep it simple and iconic, and we described to Colin that we wanted something that would basically represent the isolation of man and its in his surroundings, that this entire universe that could destroy us at any second without a whim, without even a whim, just indiscriminately. And that's what he came up with right out of that. And oh yeah, we told him to add like HP Lovecraft to it, and that's what he came up with, and we were all super happy.
Good. Okay, the kind of show you put on tends to be pretty wild. It's
Mm,
the genre, the metal. So I don't know if you remember what happened to Randy Blythe from Lamb of God here in Europe, in the Czech Republic, when a
mm,
fan died from stage diving. The same thing happened some weeks ago with Exodus playing in Argentina. Another fan died
mm.
on stage dive. So what's your opinion about stage diving? Should be allowed on shows?
Well, I mean, our shows, as long as I've been doing, I've been before Origin. I was a band called Skinless for 6 or 7 years, and with Origin, we our stage show is we've upped our game, and it's intense, and we encourage stage diving and crowd surfing and moshing. We do want all that to happen. Obviously, it's terrible and unspeakably bad that kids die from it, but it's there's no real explanation. Like I don't want it to stop, but I don't want people to die. But I mean, they're obviously very rare cases, and people have to be super careful. We condone all of the violence and stage diving and stuff like that, but we always encourage, drop not lest ye be dropped, or if you see somebody on the ground, pick them up and help them out. You encourage the camaraderie of metal shows, which you don't usually have to, but in light of the Randy Blythe thing, it's always good to just stress, be like, if you see someone on the stage, come forward and catch them, or else this whole thing falls apart. And metal is a great brotherhood of people that they're all here for the same reason, and they will catch you, or they will help each other out. And I think
Exactly.
that's like the best part of it. A lot of other genres, you go to more mainstream concerts, and it's every man for himself. People get way more hurt, and it's disappointing to see. But at least from my experience in metal shows, we can band together, and it's unfortunate that that stuff happens, obviously. But people die walking down the street sometimes too. So
Exactly. Well, man, you're gonna play in January on this 7,000 Tons of Metal cruise, which sounds super fun. I was reading something about a pillow fight Wall of Death thing.
ah.
What is that all about?
Well, what's happening so far is I know for the past few years, the attendance of the 70,000 tons of metal, people that just went, had spontaneous pillow fights during some of the bands that were playing. Like I
Yeah.
think it started during this band Raven a couple of years ago, and it became kind of a tradition among the people that go. And now this year, the actual 70,000 tons promotion wanted to like take the idea and run with it and make it an official thing. And we were the official band chosen for it. So they're going to provide the pillows, and we're going to have it an organized event and make it awesome and have great video of it. And I'm really happy to do it. And I'm wondering if Guinness Book of World Records ever had the largest maritime pillow fight ever. So maybe we'll break that record too. We gotta contact those people.
Great. Well, man, just to finish the interview, you have great tours there in the USA. You have the film with the cruise. You also play on the housecore horror film,
Mhm.
which I was saw some videos. It was sick. What is exciting for you about touring Europe? Is the bands that you're touring with? You're touring with Aborted and Exhumed, Miasmo, or what is the thing that most excites you about coming here?
It's definitely Europe. It's definitely a distinctly different feel with the crowds. People are way more passionate about music still. In the States, there's a a tendency for people to, be spoiled and not come out to shows because maybe they saw the band last year or they just don't care or are busy home downloading the albums. But my experience in going to Europe has always been just the craziest crowds. We have, I think, 12 shows in Germany, and every German show I've ever played has been just off the wall. People are appreciative. People like to, mosh, but it's different than in the States. It's a lot more feeling to it. So there's definitely much more impassioned shows, and I'm excited to tour on a bus. Great to not have to live in a van, and I'm excited to play with our friends in Exhumed and Aborted. It's going to be a great time. The happier and more drunk we are, the more fun we have touring, the better the stage shows. So then the better the show is for the crowd.